Welcome to 12 Days of Christmas, where my friends try to get me into the Christmas spirit by watching some of their favorite Christmas movies. Today we're joined by Brent Von Kalamazoo, and he's decided to watch one of his favorite movies.
Die Hard.
Die Hard, which is a very argued Christmas movie. So, welcome to 12 Days of Christmas. 12 Days of Christmas, a video series featuring Ashley Stoneman and friends of hers from the Michigan comedy scene. Help Ashley get excited for Christmas as we watch some of our favorite Christmas movies. Welcome to 12 Days of Christmas, where my friends try to get me into the Christmas spirit by watching some of their favorite Christmas movies. Today we're joined by Brent Von Kalamazoo, and he's decided to watch one of his favorite movies.
Die Hard.
Die Hard, which is a very argued Christmas movie. So Brent is here to argue that for us and talk about why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I think most of us have seen this movie, and this is Bruce Willis with some hair, you know?
He looks so young.
He's so young. And Brent, I think you were talking about the casting choices here for Die Hard.
They couldn't get any normal action star to do it. They offered this to every other action star in Hollywood at the time, and the first person who they were legally obligated to offer it to was Frank Sinatra, because the movie is based on a book, and that book is a sequel of a book that already had a Sinatra movie made out of it in 1968. So they had to offer it to a man in his 70s before they could do anything else.
But
and then it was turned down by Schwarzenegger and
right.
Burt Reynolds. And
so we'll start off this movie. What I think is probably one of the funniest things. Obviously, this is very 80s. You know, very end of the 80s. They're listening to cassette tapes. And Bruce Willis gets picked up by a limo driver named Argyle, who's pretty cool. But he sits in the front seat of the limo. Like
John McClane does.
Who does that? Yeah. John McClane is like, nah, I'm a badass. I'm not a princess. I'm not sitting in the back seat of the limo.
I think it's because he's a cop.
Right. Got to see everything, you know.
No, it's because the back seat is for prisoners.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like, no, I don't sit back here.
You don't learn any of that shit in cop school.
He went to special cop school, like fighting terrorists.
And escaping explosions by jumping out of windows.
And using a fire hose, and like that would just keep you, keep your body straight.
Yeah, like it would break your back if you did that sort of thing without it being tied like a harness. He was really winging it at that point because he did not check to see whether the fire hose was tied down at the other end.
Oh, no.
So the spool just tumbles after him.
A prayer.
And he gets lucky.
I think
the whole movie is him getting lucky.
He got real lucky with this movie. This movie had 5 sequels. Like, Bruce Willis didn't have to do anything else but Die Hard movies. I mean, obviously,
I think it's 4 sequels, 5 movies total.
5 movies total. Yeah, my bad. 4 sequels, 5 total movies.
And I haven't seen all of them, but
wrong.
What?
I said you're wrong. Just watching this movie with you, because I love the original Die Hard, it really just made me want to sit down and watch all of the sequels. Because I have seen them, but I have not just sat down and watched them in order like that ever. I don't think I've ever done that.
I mean, there's no reason to.
I make a lot of reasons to do a lot of silly things.
Like, look how unlucky this group of terrorists is. They have cornered John McClane by accident.
I want to get right into it because a lot of people are confused about this being considered a Christmas movie.
Well, I mean, obviously it happens at Christmas.
It takes place on Christmas Eve.
And there are a lot of movies or cartoon episodes where somebody saves Christmas. but this is the only somebody saved Christmas that's a plausible situation.
Like saving Christmas from
If
terrorists.
somebody in real life were to save Christmas, it would be like from a terrorist attack, not from someone abducted Santa Claus.
Well, that's very true.
Uh,
I enjoy the hot Christmas soundtrack. That's usually what I look for in a Christmas movie. Christmas music, decorations, and this all takes place at a Christmas party on Christmas Eve.
mm-hmm.
I just can't help but think, who the heck has to go to a work Christmas party on Christmas Eve? That's awful. I'm sorry. One of the most memorable things in this movie, at least to me, is the fact that he is not wearing any shoes the whole time.
That's some body horror level foot mutilation going on.
Every time he's walking across so much glass, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, no shoes.
But you know what is admirable about it? Even though that's really weird, that's really specifically cringy. But in action movies, the hero doesn't usually get hurt in such a way that it matters. He's hurt the whole movie.
Yeah, literally, this is like a get back up or everyone else will die kind of situation. Like he is the only force helping them.
This is one of those scenarios where the bad guys should have done really well and succeeded in getting the $640 million of bearer bonds and killing everyone and escaping. And it would have worked just fine if anyone else was in the building other than John McClane.
That damn pesky John McClane.
He doesn't even live there.
They had such a good plan too. Like they were prepared to be in this building and really hunker down for a while because they needed to break through these 7 locks. And they were ready.
And the police siege was part of it. Like that was part of their plan.
That was the best part. They knew how the police would respond, and they used that to their advantage. And the cops in this movie, you want to talk about cops nowadays being pretty bad at their jobs. They are not well represented in this movie because they just don't. The 911 operator doesn't take calls seriously.
For one thing, you functionally forget that John McClane is a cop for the whole movie.
Yeah, there's one little line about it until the end when it comes up.
But other than him, the other cops are terrible. Except the least terrible one is the dad from Family Matters. He had massive regrets about accidentally shooting an unarmed kid.
Yeah, that was his reasoning for no longer being on the street.
In our current narrative, the fact that the only good cop in that department is the one who shot a kid and got permanent desk duty, that bodes badly for Los Angeles.
What would you say is your favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part of this movie is when Alan Rickman does his bad American accent.
Oh, it's so good.
What I read was that wasn't written in the original movie, and they added that scene because they found out how good an American accent Alan Rickman could do.
Well, and that German accent's fake too, so it's like, you just...
Oh, no, he's a good actor. In any other movie after this is his first movie.
Yeah.
If he was in a different movie doing an American accent, I guarantee you wouldn't have been able to tell.
I don't know if it's just me being messed up in the head, but I straight up fell in love with Alan Rickman in this movie. I have a thing for Alan Rickman in The Bad Boys, but he's so great. He is he's just wonderful at being the bad guy in this particular movie.
It's very gratifying because he's like sort of the German version of a mustache twirling mastermind.
Yeah.
And you really need somebody like that who's really compelling when your action hero doesn't talk a lot, and action heroes generally don't. So
right, they have
usually cooler.
their lines. Their one short little line they say as they're doing something badass, and we all know the line from Die Hard.
Yeah, but in this movie, he doesn't yell it.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's just like kind of like he says it over the radio.
Yeah.
And like almost in just conversation style, and then that became like this.
Because it was a funny retort. It wasn't just a badass thing to say; it was a funny retort. He was like, "You better watch yourself, cowboy," and he's like, "Oh,
yeah," because he's calling him
motherfucker,
this American cowboy, because they don't know, they're not sure who this man is that's fighting them. But then I just thought that was so funny that then that became their brand, their logo, like.
The reason that this is the perfect Christmas movie is because it is a beautifully awesome action movie that doesn't have really necessarily anything to do with Christmas. Tricked us into believing that it's a Christmas movie so that we have something good to watch at Christmas that isn't a Christmas movie.
Yeah. More entertaining and less family friendly. I mean, he's the savior. He's the savior of the movie. He saves Christmas. It's like almost any other Christmas movie. There's some sort of struggle, and then Christmas is saved.
Yeah, he's John McChrist.
McDonald's is going to sue you for that one.
They own that one already.
They already own the rights to.
They're sitting on that for an Easter special.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this edition of 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you so much to Brent for picking out this movie. And if you guys want to follow him, check him out on Twitter. His tag is Brent Von Kalamazoo. And you can also check him out on the subreddit Stand Up Shots. So, Brent, thank you for joining me. And
thank you so much for having me.
Of course, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.